In this video, I am going to expose how much I paid for pet grooming clients when I started my mobile pet grooming business, and we are also going to go over some of the best practices when signing contracts as an employee. If you are new, my name is Savana. I am the owner and operator of Pause and Relax Mobile Pet Grooming and Reiki Services. I also make these YouTube videos, have online courses, and lots of resources for aspiring and current pet groomers. Full disclosure, before I get into the content of this video, I am not giving any legal advice. I am merely just telling you my experience, the predicament I got myself in, and I'm just explaining my opinions and experience. No legal advice here, you guys. If you need advice on anything legal, contact a lawyer, not me. This is not legal advice. Let's get into the content of today's video. Okay, guys, I've been gone for a while. We will address that in another video, but today I'm going to be discussing something I have never talked about on the internet before. Only people closest to me know about this, and that is the fact that I paid, everybody clench their buttholes, $12,000, 12, 3 zeros after that, for pet grooming clients. And I am going to explain to you how I got myself into this situation, how you cannot get yourself into this situation, and why I do not recommend you paying for clients. Also, some other little things that I want you guys to think about when you are signing contracts as an employee. If you guys know anything about my grooming story, how I got to where I am today, I started as a kennel attendant at a kennel. I became a pet groomer, started grooming there. The tragedy happened at the kennel. I got hired on as a mobile pet groomer, and then I started my business where I built my own van and started my own thing. I did not buy the business from the employer that I was working for as a mobile pet groomer. So perhaps you can kind of start pinning the pieces together here to see where things went wrong. What happened is that when I was getting hired on with this mobile pet grooming company, they got me to sign a contract. Now, this can be fairly standard practice in the pet grooming industry. And something that was included in that contract was a no compete clause. Now, at the time, I quit the kennel the day that the tragedy happened. I never went back other than for like a staff debriefing trauma counseling. So I needed a job, and I had always wanted to try mobile pet grooming. This company had reached out to me previously. I had turned them down because I had the kennel job. So I reached out to them and they decided to hire me on. So in the midst of all this craziness, all this trauma, needing a job and not really thinking anything of it, I was just going to sign anything to get a job. Within that contract included a no compete clause, which says something along the lines of, not quoting this exactly, but you cannot compete with us, start your own business type of thing, if you decide to quit and go elsewhere. Now, at the time, did I know I eventually was going to start my own business? I wanted to one day, but again, I didn't know what that was going to look like. Didn't really care at the time. I needed job, income. This seemed like a great opportunity and a great way for me to try out mobile pet grooming to see if that was something that I even wanted to have as a business in the future. So really, I didn't even think much of it. I just signed my name. Lovely. I knew that the owner of this company wanted to get out of the business eventually. They had their business appraised and they gave me a price. If you're interested in buying this business, we want you to pay us X amount. Now, this amount of money was way too much money. Generally, I would suggest if you are going to start a mobile pet grooming business, just start it from the ground up. Paying for someone's clients and their name and their branding comes with a really big price tag that I feel like doesn't equate to what you get unless you are buying a really big full-on operation. Or if you're buying a storefront with a lot of locations, you really need to look into things, get lots of advice, and see if it is worth it to you. It was much cheaper for me to get my own van, then convert it myself, get my name and everything up and running than it was for me to buy this established business. Like way, way less. Where this got sticky is that I signed that no compete clause. I was building my own van, building my own business. I was very transparent with the owner and said, I cannot afford that. I am not interested in that. We want to build our own thing. I was trying to do things as correctly as I could, but I had built set clientele through this person's business that I was working for. Obviously, I am hoping that those clients are going to transfer over to my business. So this gets kind of weird. I'm working for someone, I'm getting the clients under their name. Do I own those clients? Well, yes, those clients have free will, but there is that no compete clause. While there are usually issues about these no compete clauses holding up in court, often because they are so vague and often unreasonable, trying to control whether someone can work once they leave the company, someone could still go after you and take you to court over this. Once again, I am not a lawyer. These are just my experiences and opinions. So keeping that in mind, not wanting to create any bad blood, keeping in mind that I did build this clientele under this company's name, that I did sign the no compete clause, I decided that it was most fair, and we both decided together that it was most fair if I paid a set amount for the clients that I had gained through them. Now, do I personally, in my personal opinion, think that that was fair? Yes and no. Even if I didn't pay that $12,000, there is nothing going against those clients that I had from looking me up, seeing my name on my website, and then calling me. If they are going to reach out to me separately, I'm not impeding with anything. They have free will to go wherever they want. So essentially, I paid $12,000 just to be able to tell the clients exactly where I was going, be able to contact them. They all moved over with me, and any of my clients that contacted my former boss, she would send them directly over to me because I paid $12,000 for them. So I paid half of that money upfront in cash, because whenever I would get tipped in cash, I would put it away in like savings. I still claimed that money that I made, but I'd put it in a little envelope. So I ended up having half of that money in cash. The other half, I did a payment plan with that employer to pay her back for the clients. So between that and my business loan, it was kind of a disaster starting a business. And that is why I teach aspiring and current pet groomers a totally different way of starting their business, where they can make money from day one, not have all of these payments hanging over their head, not getting a business loan, all of these things. But that is hindsight. So the thing that I want you guys to think about when you are becoming an employee somewhere is consider, are you signing a non-compete clause? And is that going to impede in the future you going to work at a different pet grooming place or starting your own business? I highly recommend you have a lawyer read through any contracts that you are about to sign. Perhaps I would have negotiated something differently with this employer if I actually would have understood what I was signing. Did I get anyone else to read over the contract? No. I signed it at their kitchen table. Now, why I do not recommend paying for clients is, firstly, it's a hard thing to value. How much is a client worth? While some people may find it worth it to pay for clients, I personally believe that you don't have to. If you are going off to do your own thing or even going to another business, your clients that love and appreciate your work are going to seek you out. Also, if you have an employer that you are working for that respects you, perhaps they will just give out your name anyways. So like, how much is a client worth? Also, the pet grooming clients you do have have free will to go wherever they want. Referrals are everything, you guys, in the pet grooming world. So I suggest, in my opinion and my experience, do not sign contracts with a non-compete clause so that you can avoid this stress and headache and potentially this cost. In the end, I ended up paying $12,000 just to kind of be as nice as I could in the situation, not have to fight potentially in court. There was never any indication that was going to happen. I wasn't signed with papers or whatever, but I just decided, you know what? I will just take the L on this one, pay the money, and just have my clients. Now, interestingly enough, I don't have most of those clients now because I work so part-time. So did I essentially lose a bunch of that money? Potentially, but this is the situation I am in right now, and I am telling you guys, just being open and honest, and I do not think you should have to pay a cent for yours. That is all I have for you guys today. If you have any questions or comments, if you've been in a similar situation, please let me know down in the comments below. Maybe someone else can make me feel not as alone for, I don't know, spending a bunch of money on clients that would have found me anyways. I cannot wait to get back into a regular YouTube video schedule. So if you have any video suggestions, questions for me, any of the like, please leave them down in the comments below. And if you haven't already, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button, as I am doing my best to upload every single week. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye. So what I essentially got for that amount of money, 45-page document with names, phone numbers, emails, the price they charge, the groom details, any health concerns, etc. That's what I got for that amount of money. I would say about 90% of these clients are not my clients anymore.